Welcome to the Etsy Conversations podcast, featuring inspiring interviews with Etsy shop owners, hosted by Ijama Elazu.
Hi, and welcome to the Etsy Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Ijama, and I thank you for joining me for another episode. And this week, my guest is Genevieve, and she runs the Etsy shop Genevieve Designs BR. She does a whole bunch of other stuff, which we'll get into in the course of our conversation. But before we do, Genevieve, thank you so much for being my guest, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Now, before we start, can you just tell us a little bit about you?
Sure. I'm known around with my friends. I'm a bit of a serial crafter and serial creative. I'm always up to something, be it my Etsy shop or landscaping or building with my next project, which will be laser cutting. I am always up to something.
Well, you're in good company, and I'm impressed by all you do at the same time. So I'm excited to learn more about you. But before we do that, so Etsy, when did Etsy come into the picture for you? When did you first discover Etsy?
I first discovered Etsy in 2010. I think that was when it was really becoming popular. And I started my shop then, not specializing in wreaths, but instead specializing in like enameled glassware, because that was real popular at the time. And I was making so many that I needed to sell some to get rid of them.
Yeah. Okay. So then I'm glad you said that, because sometimes I know a lot of people will start selling on Etsy with one particular product and then along the way change.
Yeah.
Did you change much about your shop when you changed your product line, or did you just gradually transition from one product line to another?
I transitioned because I started selling deco mesh wreaths, and they were selling really fast locally. And so I needed a place for them to be sold locally, but through a better payment system. Instead of paying cash and whatnot, I wanted to be able to take credit cards. So that's what I originally used Etsy for. And so then that slowly turned into interchangeable wreaths.
Okay.
It was very progressive.
Oh, I see. So do you take the stance of, do you constantly look for trends and changing trends and follow those? Or do you feel that like now you found your niche on Etsy and it's wreaths, at least for now?
No, I don't try to follow trends too much, because trends is not my market. Okay. My market does not go with trends. Okay. They're very much about classic design. And so I was going a little trendy. I don't do that anymore.
Okay. So now you sell wreaths. How did you become interested in making wreaths and selling them? Are you self-taught?
Yes, I am self-taught. I'm self-taught in everything. It's ridiculous. I started making deco mesh wreaths because I had just bought my home and I wanted something fancy for my door. And so I started making those, and my friends started seeing them on Facebook. And so then they started buying them. And so then it just became something where I saw it was a viable business, which I was really surprised about. Yeah. And so then I started selling them outside of my local area, and that's when things really took off.
Okay. So when you were selling locally, actually, do you still sell locally now, or are you completely online 100%?
I'm 100% online. I still sell locally. My market is not, I'm in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Mm-hmm. And so my market is not Louisiana. It's just, I just know that's not my market. Mm-hmm. So I do sell here and there locally, but I'm exclusively online. I don't do consignment anymore. I used to do consignment and retail, and I just do exclusively online now.
Okay. And one of the things that's different about your wreaths, because I know other folks sell wreaths on Etsy, but yours are specifically interchangeable. And so
Yes.
they come with components that throughout the year, someone who buys them can switch out and change with the seasons or change designs. Can we talk more about specifically how your wreaths are different from the traditional type of wreaths?
Yeah, and so this all started because a colleague was tired of buying wreaths over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, "Why don't you make them interchangeable?" I'm like, that's a really good idea.
Yes.
So I started to do that, and so they're interchangeable in that the bows can be changed, the initials can be changed, and I have signs that I hand make that can also be changed.
I see.
So it's really versatile. The bows can be put any place on the wreath, and it can be There are literally thousands of combinations, and I'm always adding new designs.
Okay. So that gives me an idea. Well, raises another question for me. Did you have any concerns about limiting your sales? Because with traditional wreaths that are very seasonal, like say like a Thanksgiving wreath or a Christmas wreath, if one was selling those, you know that your market will come to you as the seasons change to buy the new ones. Whereas with interchangeable, they buy the wreath and then only have to change the elements. Was it a concern for you that you might not have as much repeat business because the elements could be changed and folks wouldn't necessarily need to buy an entirely new wreath each time?
No,
Okay.
it's actually it's been quite a windfall for me actually, because so I have people who have been with me from the beginning who still buy new bows, and everyone wants something new every season. So even if they have a fall bow from last year, I have new fall bows, and so then they buy those. And I actually have someone who puts it on her office door, and she hangs all her seasonal bows in her closet in her office so she can change it out for every season.
Okay.
And it's also a really great space saver
Yeah.
because we're all kind of living in smaller homes.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone wants a wreath, but everyone doesn't want to store all those wreaths.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I have a great repeat customer base.
Yes. And now that you said that, I'm thinking that's wonderful because you give them the basic and then they have to keep coming back as things change and new designs come out. And with the space saving, that's huge.
Yeah, that's really huge. And then I also have another base outside of seasonal. I have weddings and baby showers. Because it's a really big deal down here in Louisiana to have a wreath on your hospital door whenever you give birth, to kind of direct family and friends to your hospital room. And so that's another big market.
Oh, so let me ask now, this is off topic-ish, but okay, so if everyone has a baby in the maternity ward and everyone has wreaths, how do you distinguish whose wreath, like whose room door is whose?
Because the signs are custom. And so a lot of people will have like the baby's name if they already know what they're having. So I can put the baby's name on it, or I also have like, it's a boy, it's a girl. And then I can also put like the newborn stats and whatnot. And so they also, I have so many different bows, so they can just say it's the blue bow, blue bow room, or something like that.
That's so unique. I've never heard of that, but I love that idea.
Yeah.
Yes. So then people have to plan ahead, right? So they have to buy the wreath and then take it as they're rushing out the door to go give birth.
Yes. Most of my pregnant girls, ladies, get them a few weeks before they give birth. I do have some last minute ones, and I try to get those out as fast as possible. Because I know that time slips away in those situations.
Yeah. Plus, they kick you out like, a few days after.
Right.
Okay. So when you first started selling on Etsy, did you have any reservations about selling online, seeing as how you had you had sold a bit on Facebook, but now that you were like opening up a store that was branded and yours, did you have any concerns or any reservations about doing that?
No, I didn't really have any reservations about it because I usually jump in with both feet in any kind of new endeavor. It started to become more of a concern when I started to see more people copying me. That's when I got a concern, because that's when Pinterest was really big and copycats were out of control.
So what did you do, or are you able to do anything to combat that? Because I know that's an issue on Etsy.
Most of the time I just comment about how much I like their wreath, which usually is like a hint, I see what you're doing. Other times I had a really close acquaintance of mine that I really admired. She ended up copying me, and I ended up sending her a letter saying like, look, please don't copy me. Yeah. So I don't have as many now because it's so much work. Yes. And people who sell at half my price don't stay in business very long because it's so much work.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's good. That's actually bold of you to confront. I don't know how I would handle it with a friend. I think I'd be even more afraid, just because, you know.
Oh no, my mother is an artist, so I have some experience in this and copycat and dealing with copycats and whatnot. She is not as bold as I am, but I'm pretty bold. And be like, hey, look, I see what you're doing. Please just stop.
All right. So let's talk about your day to day. What does a typical day on running your business look like, and how do you manage your time?
Lord, can I have someone who manage my time for me?
Can we all?
I know my day to day, every day is different, completely different. It usually starts out with me trying to figure out what I need to get done for that day. What supplies I'm running out of and what I need to order, dealing with customers and their questions. It's every day is different. It's really different.
Okay. And are you a one woman operation? So you're customer service, totally. You're the shipping department, it's all you.
I'm everything. Absolutely everything.
Okay. So, do you feel that at some point you're going to need to bring help in to be able to scale, or do you enjoy being 100% hands-on in your business? I know that people who shop on Etsy like that aspect of it, knowing the face behind the product. But for your business growth, do you anticipate that bringing on some help at some point? And it could just be an assistant to respond to emails or what have you. What are your thoughts of growth?
I've thought about it. I live in a area of Baton Rouge that no one wants to be in because traffic is really terrible. So even finding someone to hire is really hard. So there's that obstacle. I do have someone who comes in whenever my big wholesale orders come in, and she comes in to like unpack everything and untag and organize and do that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah. But day-to-day making, it's all me because I have a certain way of doing something. Yes. I know the quality, and I'm not going to send out something that's not up to my quality and that I can't stand behind and know, yeah, I messed up. So no, I don't have any plans of hiring anyone, only just for those once or twice a year when I get my wholesale truck in. But no, I wish I could. I wish I could clone myself.
Yeah.
And I've tried to teach someone how to build one of my wreaths and build my bows and paint, but it's a very steep learning curve. And it's changing all the time because sometimes I find a better way to do something.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's one of the issues that a lot of us creatives struggle with is, do I think there's someone there out in the world that could do it exactly the way I can? Well, the truth is we all think there isn't, but but yeah, that's the nature of what we do. One of the things I was really impressed with is that you make all your own ribbons, like you sew your ribbons.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
So what's your typical turnaround time then? Because you're actually making them, some of these things are, when you say you bake them from scratch, you make them from scratch.
Yes. My turnaround time right now is 10 days. It's about to go up. Just because fall is a really big season for me.
Yeah.
I'm about to change it to 3 to 4 weeks, but like my monograms right now are 3 to 4 weeks, just because I don't have a laser cutter. So that has to be shipped into me. And, he takes a little while to get me those monograms, but everything else, it's a lot of organizing and a lot of thinking ahead and making sure I have materials when I need them. But it also gives me a lot of freedom to do a lot of different things.
Yeah. Wow. Good. So let's talk about pricing. How do you arrive at the final price that you put on the product that you sell? And do you ever do sales? Do you believe in having sales?
Nope. I don't do sales.
Okay.
I have talked to my mother extensively about this, and there is no reason to ever have a sale on handmade work. You are not making in bulk, and especially when it's custom like I do, nothing is made before. Everything I don't start making until it's ordered. So I just can't. Everything is one by one. And so my time is too valuable, and I also don't want to be training customers to be expecting a sale, because then they're not going to buy when it's full priced. So no, I don't do sales. It just makes it easier. It's just so much easier. And doing sales is kind of unfair for your full priced customers as well. So I just make it easy. No discounts ever. The only discount I really do sometimes is free shipping, but I haven't done that in a good while. But how I come up with my pricing is I take my time times an hourly rate plus my materials plus a % of margin, just to deal with administrative programs and marketing and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. And I like that you said you take your hourly rate, because I think that's a component of the product creation process that a lot of sellers overlook, is how much are you paying yourself to do the work over and above the cost of the materials that you're using.
Yes, and that's the problem I find with a lot of new sellers, is they're only charging based on your materials. You're not being paid. And what happens when those material prices go up, which they always do. And a lot of sellers, even when they do hourly, they're charging at a minimum wage. Who wants to work for a minimum wage?
Yes, and that's so true. And that's one of the reasons I like to talk about pricing, is because, and I know sometimes as creatives, some people feel guilty charging what they think it would be worth if you include the time that they spend. But that is part of running a handmade business. You're not using equipment to manufacture all this. That's saving you time so you can make more. The time you use is the time you spend. Right.
And usually when new sellers come to me asking for advice, I tell them, give me your price and I'll double it. That's what you need to be charging, because when your price is low, you're competing against Walmart. And people who are able to take advantage of economies of scale. Handmade is not Walmart. And I also tell my new sellers who come to me about discounting, I said, Walmart discounts. You are not Walmart. So I have a very what's the word I'm looking for? I'm a stickler, a strong opinion on pricing.
And I like that. And I think that as a handmade entrepreneur, an entrepreneur who runs a handmade business. That's important to have. So let's talk about how you promote your Etsy shop and what you do to get traffic to it. Now, you've been on Etsy for a while now, so and you've gained a reputation at this point. So I'm sure, like you mentioned before, you have repeat customers, which is the best position to be in. You want people who already know you coming back. Do you do anything special to try and attract new customers, doing Etsy promoted listings or having a presence on social media?
No. I do. I do Instagram. Okay. I just deactivated my Facebook page because it was doing nothing for me, and maybe 5 people were seeing it. Okay. So I have Pinterest. I was able to get in on Pinterest early. So I have a couple of pins that I believe have 16,000 pins, something like that. Some pretty big. Those bring me in a lot of traffic. Okay. I'm on Instagram. I get a good bit of traffic from there. I don't get a lot, but through my Google Analytics, I can see that those who are coming through are engaging a lot with my store. So I'm a quality over quantity kind of gal. Yeah. So it's not a ton of traffic. I just like to have a little bit of presence there, and I'm kind of working on my Instagram, moving away from selling and trying to show behind the scenes a bit more so that people can connect with me and not be sold to all the time. Who wants to be sold to all the time?
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, it's a different way of thinking about it, which kind of was a light bulb moment for me a few weeks ago.
That's so bold, Genevieve, because we constantly are, well, I shouldn't say we, I'll talk about myself. I feel like, I bought into the whole idea of being everywhere on social media, and it's overwhelming, and it wears me down. It wears me out. And I always say, and I know I've said it before on the podcast, I'm going to cut back. I'm going to cut some out. But then when it comes down to it, I'm like, oh, but can I really just cut this one off and, move forward? So I'm so impressed that you did that, and it's working for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm a very data-driven person and seller. And so when I see the data and I don't see that it's doing anything for me, I'll cut it out. I don't have enough time in the day in the first place. Yeah. So bye. I'm not going to deal with that anymore.
No,
but I have done like the Facebook ads and boosted posts and promoted ads on Etsy and promoted pins on Pinterest. I've done them all. None of them have been really great. Organic is the best. So when someone asks me about that kind of stuff, I said, do it, but don't concentrate on it. Concentrate on your work.
Yeah. Okay. So you've tried everything. Well, you've tried all those already, which is impressive. And I like that, because at least you're not cutting them out without seeing whether or not they work for you. You tried them and they didn't. Now, you mentioned Google Analytics. So do you have your Etsy shop connected to your Google Analytics account, and that's what you use for measuring your data, or do you rely more on Etsy stats?
Google Analytics. Etsy stats is it's too messed up right now.
Oh boy.
It's not reliable. And so I can pull reports out of Google Analytics and download Excel sheets from there so that I can do further data analysis. So I will look on Etsy stats just to see. It's not as fun anymore since it's not in real time. But I mostly rely on Google Analytics for my data analysis.
Okay. And do you dive deeply into Google Analytics, or do you just take a cursory glance at?
Oh, it's deep. It's very deep. Yeah. I had it set up by it's a woman named Leslie Hayes. She set it up for me. She is amazing, because Google Analytics is a big monster.
It is.
And it's a different language, and it's just hard to wrap your head around if you're not in that space.
Yes.
So she broke it down for me very easily into layman terms and set up a lot of reports so that I can just click on that and see exactly what's going on. And she was amazing. I did not do any of that on my own. I tried to DIY it and it was no good.
Because that was going to be my next question, because I have tried to DIY it and I think I am probably, I don't know, measuring something that has nothing to do with anything. Now, Leslie Hayes, is she someone that someone who's listening to this podcast now can reach out to and ask to do that? Does she do that for other people, or was this like she does?
Yes.
Does she have a website or business name?
I believe it is Artistic Analytics.
Oh,
I need to look that up.
That speaks to me.
Yeah, she is amazing.
Perfect.
And so she has like monthly plans where she comes and does a report for you once a month, or she just sets it up for you.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Okay, good. And I will also hunt her down on online and find
Artisan Analytics.
Artists with an S?
Artisan.
Oh, Artisan Analytics. Okay. So
.com.au. She's in Australia.
Okay. .com.au. Okay, so I will find that and I will link to that in the show notes for this episode. So if you're driving and you're listening to this, don't worry. I'll find the link and I'll put it in. You can go and click and connect with Leslie. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So analytics are really important. It's important to know what's going on in your shop. Do you on a monthly basis go in and look at what's happening and then make adjustments based on that? Or do you do a review at longer intervals?
I don't do it too much just because I'm seasonal and that's very dependent. And so if I'm down 1 month, it's probably because it's August and there's nothing going on. So I probably go in when I just have some downtime. I don't really set any specific time down. Okay. Just when usually I go in whenever there's a seasonal change, look at last year's stats, and then go from there.
Okay. All right. So let's talk next about other things that you're doing. So we talked about social media. Do you have a website that's tied into your Etsy shop, or it's just you just focus on the shop, no outside blogging or anything else?
So I have, it's burlapriggins.com. Okay. I got that website many years ago, and I've always planned to have a standalone site. I started developing that last year, and I just changed so quickly that it's really hard to update both. Okay. So I got rid of the standalone site. Okay. I do blog outside of Etsy. It's All Projects Great and Small is my blog that I put all of my Etsy seller information and my DIY information that I do outside of Etsy. Okay. And so my big thing on Etsy and blogging is I did a big analysis on sales for 2017. It was really on 2016 data, where I was able to analyze Etsy's SEC filings. Wow. Because I saw a drop in sales last year. Mm-hmm. And it was just mind-boggling. But Etsy kept on saying, we're bringing in new sellers, we're bringing in new buyers, sales are up. Yeah. So I was like, why are my sales down? Mm-hmm. Well, I dug deep into the numbers and I saw why.
Why?
They're bringing in more sellers, but those bringing in more buyers, mm-hmm. but those buyers are spending less.
Oh. So they're spending, are they buying more in quantity, but spending less dollars or whatever currency?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, by a lot, by like 33%.
Wow. Okay. So when they said sales are up, they meant sales numbers, but not currency.
No. Also currency. Okay. So there were more orders, but per order, those numbers were down.
Okay.
So they were able to generate a lot of income because they were able to generate a lot of small orders.
I see. Okay. So what do we do with that information?
I don't know. I don't know because a lot of retailers are seeing this trend where
Yeah.
customers aren't spending as much, that they're coming in, but they're spending less per purchase. So I don't know what to do with that, because even Tiffany was seeing that, and so they started to offer lower priced items to try and reach that market,
Mhm.
and they stopped because they found that that really wasn't boosting sales.
Mm.
So I don't think it's Etsy specific. I believe it's the economy as a whole.
Okay.
I think it's a macro problem, not
Okay.
micro.
So it sounds like we should just ride the wave for now. Don't react to lower sales numbers by dropping our prices.
No.
Okay.
My suggestion actually was to possibly offer smaller priced items that don't take as much time, but still have your kind of essence
Okay.
to maybe reach that market, but do
Okay.
not lower your prices. Never lower your prices.
Okay. All right. So in All Projects Great and Small, which I will link to, and that's on allprojectsgreatandsmall.com, you offer consulting services. What kind of consulting services do you offer?
That is mostly for design.
Okay.
And I have been offering like room designs where people are just like, I don't know what to do with this room. And so I come in and I tell them like what furniture to look for, what color, all this kind of stuff. And then I also do like Pinterest consulting, where someone comes to me with a project and say like, can I do this? What do I need? What tools do I need?
Okay.
That kind of stuff.
Okay. Now, do you only offer that to people in your local area, or if someone is outside the Baton Rouge area, can they reach out to you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Most of it's been online. I've only done one person within Baton Rouge.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Now, why did you decide to branch out into consulting?
Just because a lot of my friends ask me, and so then they've all said, "Hey, this is probably a good business idea for you."
Yeah.
And so that's just, I just kind of started it on a whim, kind of like most things that I do. And and I also really want to, in an in-game kind of way, I want to be able to teach women how to use power tools. A lot of them are really scared of power tools, and so that's what I'm kind of working towards, is creating kind of a local or even statewide business where I can go and teach women how to use these power tools and become a handy gal.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Genevieve, I love that idea. I'll tell you why. So, when I moved into our first house, my dad, he came to help us hang the curtains, and, we had no tools or anything. And so he bought a power drill. He goes, okay, you need to learn how to use a power drill and drill holes in the wall, put your nails in, hang the curtain. I was like, what? Me? Do that? How? Why? But I tell you, as soon as I held that power drill in my hand and I turned it on, I was like, I just want to drill holes in the wall just all over the place. He was like, no. You only drill where you need to.
Yes. It's addictive.
It is addictive. So I love that idea, because you're right. Women, girls, we do tend to be afraid of things that we think are outside our, purview, and things that we should be doing. But no, we should be. Why not?
Yeah. And it's a lot of fun. And why have to wait on someone else to build something? When you build it yourself. I mean, I get power tools for Christmas. That's how much I love them.
Oh man, is that your Christmas? The laser cutter, is that your Christmas gift for this year?
Hopefully, it's on my list. I think last year I got a table saw or a router.
Whoa.
I don't remember what I got, and I got a nail gun, but it's a problem. I'm running out of space.
You need your own tool shed.
I do.
Okay, so one of the things I like is that just by doing what you do and just producing the type of quality that you do, you've been able to attract attention from not just Etsy, but Country Living. You've been featured on local TV. What advice would you give to someone who's listening that also would like to attract that kind of attention and publicity?
Photos. Your photos have to be top notch. These are not iPhone taken photos. These are day-long shoots, like those kind of photos where you need to understand light. You need to understand how to edit those photos. So photos is number one. Descriptions no longer matter with Etsy and whatnot. It's your photos. Okay. So that's why I get so angry when someone steals my photo, because that's about 8 hours of work for that one.
The actual picture?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, as far as photography, did you take any courses in product photography, or is it just something that you figured out along the way? And if you did use any resources to learn how to set up your products and, you know, about lighting and whatnot, can you share what you found particularly helpful to you in learning how to take good pictures?
So that is another, I'm self-taught in photography.
Okay.
Again. And so I've been teaching myself how to do that from the beginning, because I knew how important photos were. And I do have a background in design, so I've been able to take design courses to be able to learn what good design is, and balance and composition and complementary colors and whatnot. And so I do have some background in that, but it's all a lot of learning. I'm always online researching. Flern.com is a big one that I used when I first started learning Photoshop.
How do you spell that?
PHLEARN.
Okay.
And I also used, when I started to get into Lightroom, SLR Lounge.
Okay. And those are online resources.
Online, yes. And most of them are, it's a free resource.
Oh, good.
So there's lots of videos on how to do things. I started off with Photoshop, learned that really, really well, and then went to Lightroom whenever I wanted to be, when I kind of refined my style and wanted to be able to batch edit photos.
Would you, did you ever use PicMonkey or any of the free? No?
No. Nope.
Okay. Are you familiar with it?
I've gone on it before. It just, the quality of photo that comes out is not very nice.
Okay. All right.
And it messes up, for those who don't know, when you upload to Etsy using a JPEG, your color shifts more towards red. I analyzed the heck out of this. Literally uploaded my photos, downloaded those photos to analyze the color, because I was sick and tired of seeing my color change when I uploaded. But if you upload a PNG, it does not shift like a JPEG does.
Okay. Well, okay. So PNG, and this is my understanding. Please help me and correct me if I'm wrong. I thought PNG files have transparent backgrounds.
They don't have to.
Oh,
you can, but they no.
Oh,
because I believe I sent you a PNG file with a transparent. But when you upload that to Etsy, it comes out black, I think.
Oh.
But you don't have to have a transparent background to have a PNG.
Okay.
And it's just a much better file.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. And I will link to these resources so that if you're on the verge of, trying to improve your photography and you want to check out these resources, I'll link to Flern.com and SLR Lounge. And how about equipment? Did you start off right away with a fully loaded professional camera, or did you gradually work your way up from something that wasn't, like a, DSLR?
Yeah. I don't even have a crazy nice camera now, and I just bought a new one. I started off with a point and shoot.
Okay.
I think it was a Canon. It was like whatever Ashton Kutcher was pushing at the time. I got one of those, and it's actually like I have my best photos are from that camera. And then I graduated up to a Rebel.
Okay.
I think it was the T3. And so then that did pretty well. I was having some issues with it. I wasn't liking what it was doing, and it didn't have remote capture, which I really like now. And so I just bought a Rebel T7, which is it's still part of their like consumer line, not their professional line, but it is amazing. I love this camera. Yes. Really? And so I have this camera. I have a tripod, and I also have professional strobe lighting.
Oh, how are the strobe lights different from the, I don't know what you call it, the tent lights?
Continuous. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's called continuous light.
Okay.
Yes. It is in that continuous light, it does not get as bright. Okay. And you don't have as much control. Okay. It's better. Continuous light is better for beginners just because you can look and really learn about light and reflection and really kind of learn that basic. But strobes, you're able to get that light brighter and darker in places, and it's hard. It's really hard to figure out lighting. It's the biggest obstacle I have in photographing my work.
Okay. Yeah, photography is a whole different beast on its own, and I think that the education or the learning curve just to get your pictures just right is huge.
Yeah, and I shoot in manual, which is another learning curve.
That's but it's the real pros.
Yeah, I mean, but it's the only way I can do it to be able to get my style that I want.
Yeah. Well, talking about tools, so there's the Etsy rank tool, which I know that you use because I read a blog post that you did for Etsy rank about how the tool had helped you, in a couple of situations that you weren't aware of. So first of all, let's talk about Etsy rank. For anyone who doesn't know, what is Etsy rank and what do you specifically use it for?
Etsy rank is the data nerd's dream. Oh my goodness, I love it so much. There's a lot of analysis that goes on to it. There's a lot of research you can do on it. So there's a tool called a keyword tool where you can input a keyword and you can see if the demand is high on that, if it's popular, if a lot of sellers are using it. And I believe there's the other one where you can see if like sales are being engagement is where you see if people are clicking on it, if how many views that keyword is getting. So I do that with when I'm looking up new keywords and whatnot. I use that. And then there's also rank checker where you can put in a keyword and see where you're falling in search. And you can also track where you fall in search from certain keywords. So I saw using another program, it's called Hive. No, not Hive anymore. Sorry. Formerly Hive. It's called Vela. Where I was changing a lot of my keywords for the season. I believe it was from spring to summer. And I could see my rank was going crazy when those changes were being put in.
Crazy good or crazy bad?
Crazy, like things were jumping all over the place. Okay. And so I could see that my keyword usage was really affecting where I was falling in search. It was really kind of crazy to watch. Because some things would drop and then go back up to page one. But there's that kind of analysis that I see. It also looks at your sales, your highest selling days, what hour of the day is you're selling at, and then there's also it's part of the pro program, Etsy Rank Pro, where you can track your competitors and see if your sales are doing as well as they are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and you can also see returns, which is quite interesting.
Can you see sold prices?
No.
Okay. Still nothing for that.
I can see no, I don't think I can see my sold prices. No, I can. I can see my sold prices. I can't see theirs.
Okay. So a couple of times you used the Etsy rank tool to discover things that were going wrong with your Etsy account that you weren't able to tell without the tool.
Yes. Well, I would be able to tell it. It would have just been a lot more work.
Okay.
I wrote my blog post on a time when I was using Vella, and I had uploaded photos, and I thought it was done. I thought they had all uploaded, and then I went to Etsy Rank and it said 200 listings, missing photos. I was like, what? What is going on?
Such a nightmare.
And so it was a glitch. It was when Vella was just starting. And I think Etsy was having issues too. And so I was able to go in there and I had to go listing by listing and upload photos. But that could have been really bad. It was during Christmas. And I think it was during Christmas. And so it could have been really bad for my sales if I hadn't caught that.
Yeah. And so you were able to use the Etsy rank tool and fix them all without having to go to Etsy and individually edit every single listing.
No. I still did. I still did. Etsy rank just alerted me to the fact that those photos were missing. And it also alerts me when I'm missing tag words.
Yes, that's the other thing.
And so that's really nice. So like, hey, these listings don't have all 13 tags in them.
Yeah. Are you able to, from the Etsy rank interface, add tags, or do you just go to those listings and put them in there? Okay.
It gives me a link to go directly to those listings, so that makes it really easy. But you can't do any kind of editing in Etsy rank. Okay. I do all my editing and all my bulk editing in Vella, especially since Etsy took away our ability to bulk edit.
Oh, yes. Well, did you ever use the Betsy tool?
Yes.
Oh, you miss it.
Every day I miss it.
Yes. Yeah.
And I also used, what's that other one that came up shortly after that? Oh, I can't even think of what it was. Her name was Helen, though. And she had something like Betsy, and she got shut down like Betsy too, with no rhyme or reason.
I thought, and I don't think I fully understood what was going on at the time. I thought that Etsy, and this was my assumption, I assumed that they changed the API somehow. And I thought, it's going to be easy. All they need to do is reconnect to the new API and they'll be back. Mm-hmm. But I think it was more than just that, because that didn't happen.
No, and Betsy doesn't even know why they were shut down.
Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate.
I know. I miss them so much.
Yes. And it's my hope that Etsy will create a feature like that allows you to make bulk changes. I mean, they have some, but not truly bulk changes.
Right. And when they took away variation bulk edits, oh my goodness, I cried. I cried when that happened, because I have maybe 30 variations per listing. And I used to be able to copy and paste with commas and just copy and paste, click enter. Now you have to put in each individual one by one, and then edit after that. I cried. I mean, I had 300 listings. I'm down to about 150 now, because I just couldn't deal with it.
Oh yeah. Yes. When they came out, I don't remember what it was, but it's not variations. I have to go into my dashboard and see. There was something that you had to add. They kind of reshuffled the categories and
the attributes.
Yes, thank you. The attributes. Yes, I have.
Are attributes even working? I took mine away.
I don't know. I mean, I did them and I just redid them again last weekend because I found that something had changed, and I went to look into my listings and I saw, a whole bunch of them had no attributes. I was like, I thought I did this. So I went and redid them again. I think they're playing around with stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. I took mine away because since they took away our description and just put all of that information up top now, it was muddling things up. And I took mine away.
Oh, okay.
And it really hasn't affected search at all.
Search. Okay.
So I didn't know if anyone who was using them really sees any influence.
Yeah, I do, and I haven't noticed much of a difference. So it just might be moot right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about something that right now on Etsy is working really well for you. Such a deep breath, Genevieve.
I know. It's like, well, there's so much that's changing.
Yes.
I mean, in the last year, so much has changed. And so I'm just kind of going along, doing my thing. Yeah. And so I don't really know it's working. It's up. Payments are going through.
Yes.
I mean, there's that.
Every time I hear the cash register sound, I'm happy. I'm like, okay, I'm still there. I'm not blocked. I'm not. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. No, I do. I still get excited when I see that.
I do too.
Or when I hear it. But there's a commercial now with that noise. And so I hear it. I'm like, is that my phone or is it the commercial?
Oh yeah. No, I still do too. I feel like that dog in Pavlov's experiment.
Yes.
Like, hey, that doesn't just work on dogs. That works on people too.
I know. It's that dopamine hit.
Yes. What advice would you have for a new seller who is struggling right now on the platform? What would you tell that person?
Work on your photos. Photos are number one. Second is once you have those customers in your shop, you need to convince them to buy. And you may be in a category where there's a lot of views. So what kind of makes you different is tell your story. People will buy for your story because they can buy any of those products somewhere else from someone else. And don't worry about price. Sometimes you don't want those bargain hunters. So make sure you're charging what you need, what you really are all the work that you're really putting into it. And then work on your customer service because word of mouth is the best best advertising.
Yes. Yeah.
And repeat customers are major too. My repeat viewers are more engaged with my shop than new viewers.
Yeah.
And I think 1% of the people who look at your products will buy it. 1%. So, but I have found that repeat customers are much more willing to press that buy button. Yeah. So really concentrate on those repeat buyers. That's where the money really is.
Yes. And I've heard that so many times before is, focus on people who are coming back to you already. And keep them happy, and then they just keep coming back, and it makes sense. We like to shop where we like to shop.
Yeah, and but it's hard to think of in that way, because everyone in the world is like trying to get views, get new people to get eyeballs. And if you concentrate on those repeat customers, that's really where the reward is, because everyone there, more people is not always better. Quality over quantity.
Yeah. Now, how about for a veteran seller, someone who's been on Etsy for a while right now and has seen all the changes that you're seeing and you've seen over the last 7 years that you've been on there? What would you say to a veteran seller that's feeling either confused or just discouraged about, what's going on Etsy right now. Not to say it's anything bad, but sometimes change is hard for us. What would you say to that person who's been around and is just not feeling comfortable with all the changes that are going on?
Don't worry about the changes because it's going to change again. Worry about your shop. And because I've gone and tried to get ahead of changes, spent a lot of time changing, like they were going to change the photos, how the ratio, the display ratio for the photos. So I went and changed all my photos.
Oh, I remember.
And then they changed it back.
Yes.
And so I was like, well, I just wasted all that time. So don't worry about it because it's going to change. Concentrate on what you can do.
Yeah.
And I know search is changing again back to where it was in 2010, 2011, where clumping is being allowed.
What's clumping?
Clumping is where you can show up multiple times on multiple search pages, where now, I believe it was maybe 3-4 years ago, they made it so that you could only show up once per page, per search page. And so that was to try and make more diversity so that one seller or one shop couldn't dominate a search.
I see.
Well, now they're going back to that.
Okay.
And I've dominated a few search keywords, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess they're going back to clumping again. Which is, it's good when you are on that first page.
When you're on the first page, it's good.
But when you're trying to break into a new category or whatnot, it's not so good because then you don't have many sales to be able to get onto page one. So it's just frustrating in that it's changing again, and how some people who have absolutely no SEO and maybe 4 keywords or tag words and terrible titles are being able to get onto page one. So I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
That's frustrating for a veteran who works a lot on SEO and whatnot. But veterans out there, just keep on doing what you do.
Yes.
Because there's nothing else you can do.
Yeah. And I think one of the good things is that Etsy has been very upfront about saying they're working on search. And to me, that just means it's going to be changing. There will be some quiet weeks. There will be some busy weeks until they get it all figured out. So, on the busy weeks, I'm happy. On the quiet weeks, I'm like, okay, they're still figuring it out. Trying to stay calm. Like, okay. I
wish they were a little bit more upfront about things, because I had some issues with photos uploading. I mean, I worked on this for an entire weekend because I thought it was my fault. It was their fault. It was a server issue, and they were changing it from 5 photos to 10 photos.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And they were like, I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, it's y'all's problem. What's going on? And they're like, surprise, 10 photos. I'm like, you could have told me. I spent 8 hours thinking it was me.
Oh, yes, I remember when that happened, and I thought... Because I thought that I had done something wrong when I went in, and I was editing something, and I was like, why do I have all these blank boxes? I thought I filled them out, and it didn't occur to me that there were more. I just thought that some of my pictures had dropped off, and there were extra, like, spaces had become available.
Yeah.
And then I think someone wrote me that weekend and said something about 10 pictures on Etsy. And I'm like, no, it's 5 pictures. And then I went back and then I counted. I was like, oh my goodness, it is 10 pictures. So then I started looking on the site to see if they made an announcement, and they didn't make an announcement for like a couple of days. And I was like, that's so weird. Is this real or is it not? Because if it's real, why don't you guys say anything? And it took a couple of days before they officially said, 10 pictures.
Right. And I didn't start adding for several weeks after that, because sometimes they do it and then they take it away.
Oh, yeah. So. No, neither. Actually, to be honest, I haven't added any because I'm like, okay, I have, too many listings right now. I'm going to do it going forward, but I'm not going to do it with the things I already have up. I can't.
Yeah. Well, with Vella, it's a free program. So I did it. I filled all 10.
Oh, you have?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's really easy.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they're a lot more consistent now. But when they first started, it was a little inconsistent. They've really gotten it down now.
Okay. So I will link to Vela. Is that just Vela.com? I'll find them. I'll hunt them down.
Yeah, I think it's getvela.com.
Okay. All right.
VELA.
Okay. So I will I will get their website and I will link to that and all the other resources.
I've put all my instructions in my photos now because descriptions are hidden now.
I saw that. Yes. I saw that you did that. Yes. I was like, whoa, she has everything up front. So now if people don't read the full description or your listing description, it's all right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, which is good because we know people don't read.
No. No. So I make it pretty. I make it short and sweet.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Okay. Very good. So Genevieve, do you have an Etsy shop shout out, another seller that you just want to give kudos to?
Yeah, I have a lot of contact with Mimosa Handcrafted. That is Madeline Ellis's shop. She is local and she is a lot of help with giving me advice on what conferences are really good. And she tries out a lot of stuff like promoting ads. And she's also kind of my mentor in how to give more behind the scenes look on Instagram instead of selling on Instagram.
Oh, cool.
Of how to do more behind the scenes and selling herself, not her products.
Oh, that's very good. It must be nice to have someone who's local and close by. I mean, it's nice to connect online, but just having someone there in your area must be really, really nice.
Yeah, it is really nice. It is really nice. And she's also created a really great handmade movement locally. It's called Maker's Market. Okay. And so it's kind of like Etsy, but in person.
Oh, nice.
And so it's really cool.
Okay. Was that how you first connected, through the Maker's Market?
No, it was actually through Instagram. I don't even remember how I found her on Instagram. But her photography is beautiful. Her artwork is really beautiful, and her jewelry is really beautiful. She's very Louisiana. She promotes a lot of Louisiana, like pelicans and crawfish and magnolias and that kind of stuff.
Oh, nice. Okay, so I will link to Madeline's shop. It's Mimosa Handcrafted, and go check out her shop and take a look at what she's selling, and let her know that Genevieve sent you. Now, Genevieve, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way they can reach you?
Through my All Projects Great and Small website. Okay. You can email me through that, just through the consult. You don't have to fill out everything. You can make up stuff and that will come straight to me.
Okay. And so I will link to that, and that's All Projects Great and Small. And you can use the contact page to get in touch with Genevieve. Thank you so much, Genevieve, for having this conversation with me and everything that you shared. I'm so grateful to have had you on the podcast and that you took the time out of your day to come and talk with me.
Yeah, thanks. I don't get to talk to a lot of Etsy sellers, so it's always nice to be able to get all this information in my head out.
Oh, yes. And it was very helpful. And I thank you for that. And I thank you for listening to the podcast. I will be back next week.
Thank you for listening. You can subscribe to the podcast in iTunes, and while you're there, please leave a review too. Visit convome.com to leave a comment or feedback on this episode.